Here we go.
Here we go. Hey, this is Wicked Spursy. Season 2, episode
Season
or season
three,
4, episode 2.
season four.
Season 4, episode 2. Uh
Off to off to the races already, Mike.
I know, Jesus Christ. No Dave today. Sorry to all you Dave fans out there, of which I'm sure there are a couple dozen of you. The
This
rest
is
of
the
you,
point where people just turn it off. No, Dave.
no
Nope.
Dave, we're out. That's probably the deal.
I'm
Um
curious what the data looks like behind that. We'll have to check in with him, see if this episode does any worse than the rest of them.
Jesus Christ. It's Dave's off on another one of his excursions. Meeting with our dear leader, Mr. Levy. And can't meet with Joe Lewis because Joe Lewis is probably currently indisposed with an ankle bracelet on.
Yeah, something like that.
He can't leave he can't go 30 yards with outside of his yacht. But
The horror.
you do, yeah, you do have Dave, you do have Mike and Steve. Luckily you have Mike and Steve. We're gonna break down some stuff that's happened since the last time we met up. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Okay. I've had a headache for over a week now, which has been fantastic.
Perfect.
But I did get to see Barbie, which was phenomenal. And I'm saying that like completely unironically. That was a really fucking good movie. Considering I expected it to be a long ass commercial, it was good. Like it was actually legitimately good and worth watching. I know, it's shocking.
Well, I mean, it's a big nod to feminism, right? I mean, isn't that what the whole kind of premise behind it is? And Ken
Yeah,
tries to fuck everything up, and I don't
but
know.
there's
I didn't get it all. My daughter like came back from the movie with her. She went with her friends, and then she was like, "Yeah, it was good. It was good." And then I heard her talking to her mom about it, and then I
it
kind of
was
got the breakdown.
yeah, it's one of those where I like I said, I expected it to just be this one big commercial. But my wife, she went to see it with her twin brother, and she was like, you gotta go. So, with the kid, we just tagged off. I went a different night. And it's funny, like I got in there and I ended up with this group of teenage boys behind me. And I'm thinking, great, a bunch of teenage boys sitting here for Barbie. Like they're just going to make this entire thing obnoxious. And I think they thought that they were going into it to be obnoxious and like, oh, we're a bunch of edgy teenagers going to see a girls movie. But they shut up really fast. Like they got into it. And I was shocked. Like of all the people in that theater, I thought they were going to be the biggest problems, and absolutely not a peep from them after the first few minutes. Honestly, it was good. It was really worth watching. Yeah, there's that feminism angle to it, but there's a lot of like just existential questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? Things are changing. Is that good? Like, it was worthwhile. I definitely recommend it.
Now, did you do the whole the Barbenheimer thing, or did you do them separately?
Unintentionally. So we were supposed to, my wife and I, we were supposed to go and see Barbie as our date night
Oh, sure.
movie, but or I guess I should say her nephew got accepted into this really prestigious program, and he's going to be spending the next year in Germany studying there for his final year of high school.
You could visit Harry Kane.
Yeah, right. Well, he's going to be in Frankfurt, but as they're going away, he wanted to go and see Barbie, so they went to that, and then my wife and I went and saw Oppenheimer instead, which was also very good, but much longer and much less funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
can
we ended
imagine.
up seeing both, but not intentionally.
I kind of I did not see the Barbie movie. I don't have that kind of I do have that kind of time, but I just didn't. And I did not get to see Oppenheimer. I was gonna go see Oppenheimer with our friend Nikki Winks. So he decided that, hey, yeah, great idea. We'll go up to Montreal. We'll see it on the 70 millimeter, right? IMAX, like true IMAX 70 millimeter. And I was like, yes, do it. He he said we have like a 1 o'clock and a 6 o'clock, and I found the only English viewing. So that's what we had. We had a 1 o'clock or a 6 o'clock. And I was like, let's do a 1 o'clock. Sure. And he says to me, so does Wednesday or Thursday work for you? I'm like,
What?
Wednesday or Thursday? It's like, dude, do you understand that not everybody on the fucking planet has a teaching job where we don't work during the summer? I work all summer, man. Like Wednesday or Thursday. Which day is best for you? How about Saturday?
Yeah, right.
I said,
That's a good day.
I said, I can't do that. How about Saturday? Never got back to me.
Of course. He's like, yeah, you piece of shit. You're making me spend my weekend on this. I'm not doing that.
I mean, it's an hour-long drive, you know. Well, yeah, an hour and 15 minutes, you know.
It's a
It couldn't have hurt to take, you know, a good 5 to 7 hours out of his day to go see Oppenheimer. How long is that movie?
It's 3 hours. It is actually a 3 hour long movie.
It's all of 3 hours. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, see, yeah, I didn't get to see either one of them then. But you know, I got to see some. I got to see The Flash. I got to see Indiana Jones. I think had I seen Indiana Jones last time we talked, probably not. But I got to see some good movies. There's a lot of good summer blockbusters out there, and if you just want to turn your mind off for a little while, go see Indiana Jones. It's super entertaining.
I love turning my mind
The
off.
Flash, way better than I thought it was going to be,
Really?
despite Ezra Miller being a fucking lunatic. And he happens to live in our state, on the compound with his followers. But
Oh yeah, he's in that. Yeah.
well, he's
What a
actually
fucking weirdo.
closer to like Massachusetts, so it's okay. Yeah, he's a fucking
So he's in
weirdo.
Dave's backyard.
Basically, yeah. Other than that, my son decided to not go to the club that offered him the U13 position spot. He decided to stay with his club for another year, see what's gonna happen, which is, you know, he's loyal to his club. He's gonna give it another shot to see if they can win a trophy. New coach. I mean, very similar circumstances to our friend Harris P. Kane III.
I was just gonna say that's a great segue.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's get into little Harry Kane talk. Let's just get it right the fuck out of the way so that we don't have to, you know, dwell on this and have a 30-minute conversation halfway through this podcast.
Let's do it. Let's talk Kane.
All
All right. We'll keep it nice and simple, Mike. Stay or go?
For me, 100%, I want him to stay. Up until probably yesterday, I thought he was out the goddamn door. And then I saw the news from I think it came through from David Ornstein saying that they had rejected Bayern's bid, which is 100 million euros plus add-ons. I mean, that's you know, that's gonna be north of probably 100 million pounds. So I think there's two things going on there in my mind. Daniel Levy said, we don't really need the money. And you pissed me off, so fuck you.
Fair.
I mean, they've fucked us around. Yeah, sure, they're the biggest club in Germany. It doesn't mean they're one of the bigger clubs in the world. It doesn't mean that they can push us around. And Daniel Levy does not like to be pushed around. We don't have to sell Harry Kane. In fact, this team might be better off with Harry Kane on it. He's going to draw defenders away. He's not the type of guy who's going to, you know, hold up in the box, but he is going to draw defenders away from the wingers. He is going to be a guy who drops back and can distribute. He's the best striker in the world, without a doubt, in my mind, for my money. I mean, even Pep Guardiola said that
Holland watches Kane.
Harry Kane videos, right? So for my money, Harry Kane, I don't think is going anywhere. I initially I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. I don't know that he's going to sign another contract. I just don't like the idea that we have been offered, that type of money to send our talisman to Germany, and where he can do whatever he needs to do, and and make his money and get his trophy, for however many years he's over there. I don't have a problem with that. I like that money, but on the other side of that coin, you have the issue where he could go to Chelsea. He could go to somewhere like Man U, get that trophy, and get the scoring record. So like and he'll get the money too, wherever he goes, wherever he chooses to go, he'll get that money. Thing is, like, what, just yesterday, or was it today or yesterday, he had said that he likes Postecoglou and he likes the direction the club is going. So who the fuck knows? He could end up signing. I don't see it happening, but he could.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows what's going on with this. For all we know, Bayern comes in with an improved bid, as was rumored a few hours ago that they were going to do that, up their bid again. The only certainty that seems to be going around is that Kane wants it sorted before match day 1. Like, he wants that taken care of, which, again, we're 3-4 days away from that. They are running out of time. If anything happens, it's going to happen this week. Frankly, I don't know what his priorities are. Like, yeah, he goes to Bayern, he gets a trophy, but it's a fucking participation trophy. I mean, honestly, is Bayern really going to be threatened for the league at all? Especially if Harry Kane goes there. It's like, what is the value of that? I could go to Bayern right now, sign for them, never play a minute, and get a fucking trophy. Like, they've got it on autopilot pretty much. So to me, going to Bayern as a player, I just don't understand that. Like, if you want a trophy, go to the fucking store and buy yourself a goddamn trophy. You can have him inscribe whatever the fuck you want on it.
Calvin Phillips did that.
Calvin Phillips,
he did that with Man City, right? So
yeah, it's the same fucking thing. You just, if you're that desperate for a piece of silverware, you're making how much money? Just go fucking buy yourself a cup and put it in your trophy cabinet. For me, I think the more appealing thing is going for that record. But at the end of the day, if Bayern ponies up the cash, I'd be sad to see him go. But we have to fucking move somebody on. And he's literally the only player that anybody seems to actually want to spend money on in our heavily bloated squad. Given the way that Postecoglou's got the team set up, I think we'll miss his goals, but I don't think it'll be as devastating a loss as it would be if we still had somebody like a Conte or a Mourinho in charge, where Kane was single-handedly lifting us over to the end of the season. I think goals will come a lot more in different areas of the pitch than what we saw under previous managers. So if we're going to sell him, I think now's the time to do it, especially if we can avoid sending him to a United or a Chelsea. But again, it's going to be what matters more to him. Does he want that goal scoring record, or does he want his fucking, you won the Bundesliga with Bayern participation trophy? Who knows? I'm just going to be
Bayern is winning that trophy for the 13th year in a row, with or without him.
Yeah, I'm going to be so fucking happy when this entire saga is over. We can get to match day 1, and it's like, all right, well, he said that that's the end of it, so let's just put it to bed, and whatever happens, we'll be done with it. But
match day 1, which is 5 days away, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hyped for some of these new signings that we've got right now. I was watching the interviews for Van de Ven and for Veliz, and both of them are just so fucking on board with Spurs that, Kane, if you want your Bayern participation medal, fucking go for it. We got some hype men coming in the wings. Like, let's see what they got.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that, watching some of the stuff Elise does, like, I didn't know who the fuck this guy was, and then he just popped up on the radar, so I started looking. I don't know. He's not like for like replacement with Harry Kane by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
Um, but he is what 6'1", 6'2", something like that.
dude,
Um,
he's big. He is a
he's
big boy.
he's big, right? So I don't necessarily know that he's gonna fit that Harry Kane role. He's not going to be a distributor. He is it looked to me like he's a little better in and around the box, moving in the box than maybe Harry Kane is. Harry Kane kind of Harry Kane for me with the ball has always been kind of clumsy looking, even though it's probably not clumsy. It's just like his gait.
Yeah,
But
he's more like a smart player, right? Like he
right,
doesn't have the flashiest technique or the fastest feet or anything, but he's smart enough to know where he needs to be to get his shot off.
it's an intelligence move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to kind of put a top hat on this Harry Kane conversation, um, unless you've got something else to say. But my one fear, um, for Spurs fans and for all the years and years of rooting and cheering that the Spurs fans did, that if Harry Kane goes to another Prem club, breaks the record there, they're going to claim him. They're going to claim that record, and they're going to throw it in our faces. They're going to throw it in our club's face too, which pisses me the fuck off. Um, especially those fuckers on the other side of London,
Yeah.
uh, the other side of North London, I should say. They're going to throw it in our faces, and they're going to claim it as their own. They're going to claim the record as their own. They're going to claim him as their own and celebrate and get to celebrate him when all the sweat equity was put in with Tottenham Hotspur, and its fans, and it's not going to piss me off, but it will piss me off. But I think that I'll just be super disappointed that they're going to get to claim that when we're the ones who have put all the hard work in and the years and years of standing behind this guy.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We've only got a few more days, hopefully, of having to deal with this shit before it's decided and we can just fucking move on. Speaking of moving on, though, we really need to sell some of these fucking players. We have like 35 guys on our squad right now. First team squad members. Like that is just unreal for a team that is not in any European competition.
I'm actually pretty worried about it. There are a couple of guys that I'm actually happy haven't been are injured and haven't been sold yet. One being Brian Hale. Um, I think that Brian Hale can bring a lot to this team. I think that he'll fit into Ange's system. I just don't know where. Um, you know, can he be used as a number 8, or is he going to be used more as a winger type? Where is he gonna fit in? I think that Pap Sarr is probably going to be starting on Sunday. I don't think that I still don't think he's big enough. I don't think he's strong enough to play that position.
He's got to bulk up a little bit.
It's basically that's the spot. That's the holding place for, whoever's going to take that spot right there, whether it's going to be Hobby or it's going to be Sarr, is the holder for eventually Bentancur when he comes back, right? They're the placeholder. But the guys that we have to get rid of, and unfortunately, I know we're bringing guys in to play defense. Well, we brought 2 defenders in. One of them should probably go out on a loan, Ashley Phillips, and then we have Van de Ven, who is nailed on starter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we have to get rid of Eric Dyer. I cannot
Absolutely.
have him. I cannot have him
Abso-fucking-lutely.
in the back anymore. He's become a liability. It's sad because he has these stretches where it's like, holy shit, he has these stretches of brilliance where he's really, really good. And that might be having a lot to do with the players that are around him. But Eric Dyer, Dave Sanchez, who put in a fucking shift today, he was good. He was real good. And then you have Reggie. Reggie's just can't hack it.
Yeah. Well, he's a nice guy. Love the
Tanguy and
dude, but
Dombele is going to have to go. he's injured. He can't stay healthy. He has to go. I mean, we have 7 to 9 guys that have to go.
Absolutely. Hugo's still got to sort his thing out. We know he's gone. He's not in the squad at all.
Right. So I mean, we have 7 to 9 guys. So we're talking. We heard that there could be 3 more signings coming before deadline. So keep an eye out for that. But if you're gonna get some big money signings, you're gonna have to sell some of these guys off. And whether you're getting as a Daniel Levy, whether you're getting the money that you think that each of these players is worth or not, it shouldn't really matter. In the end, like, you should be able to get $10 million for each one of these players at the going rate right now. I don't care who they are. You should be able to get $10 million for each of these players. There you go. That's $70-80 million right there. Go buy 2 $40 million players and somebody for the system.
Yeah. That's, I mean, it's a fair point, but this brings me
I know
to
that's
your
not how
subject.
it works, but
Well, yeah. I mean, I was just stuck thinking, like, fuck, like, just sell Dyer for a Big Mac or something. I mean, you get hungry for lunch one day. It's fair enough, right? Just drive him over to the McDonald's and trade him in.
offer him to West Ham. Like, they're putting in for Harry Maguire, and I mean,
It's like the same thing. Just he's
Yeah,
Harry Maguire at home.
yeah, just sell him to West Ham. Harry Maguire is going to be more expensive because he had a captain's armband. Well, Dyer had a captain's armband today, so
Here, I got to ask you this, because this is a question that I've been looking forward to asking, and it's not that question. We're not there yet.
oh, okay.
But now that we've officially hit the end of our preseason games, we've seen the team play under Postecoglou a couple of times now. I'm going to ask your top 3 players who you think improved the most in Ange's system, and 3 that did themselves absolutely no favors.
Okay. That's wow, that's a great fucking question. So top 3 who did themselves no favors. Eric Dyer.
Absolutely. I think we're in agreement there.
And unfortunately, because I wanted to give, I'm a second chance guy. I wanted to give him a second chance. Tanguy Ndombele didn't do anything for himself. And number 3, I gotta say, and it's sad to say, is Reggie. I love him. I love how enthusiastic he is. I love his smile. I love when, like, he knows he's done something well. Like, he smiles. Like, he's always got that, like, and he's all about his teammates, and he really is a loyal guy. And I love that. And I think he is Coy's. I just don't think he did himself any favors, and I don't think it's going to work out for him. The other one that I could have, it's going to be tough because I think he'll play himself into a position, but he is not a signing he's not a signing for a Postecoglou system, which is Pedro Porro. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he could put in a billion crosses. I think he could play a midfield position, maybe. He just, you want him to be able to play like Perisic, and Perisic might be on my list on the other side of that. But I think Pedro Porro is going to eventually find himself in a spot where it's going to be do or die. He's either going to be sitting on the bench or he's going to be in the starting rotation. And if he wants to do that, he's going to have to prove that he can learn how to play defense. And today he didn't help himself at all. So that's my 3 on that side. My 3 on the other side, 100% Basuma. The guy is electric. He is raw animal instinct personified. This is the guy that last year I said he's going to be the guy that's probably going to be the MVP of the squad. I'm pretty sure I said that. And he is looking like it right now. Like, he came back from an injury, didn't get to play in the last game, and came out today and he bossed bossed that midfield of the Spanish champions.
Absolutely.
And this is a guy who had a hard time getting in last year because we had an asshole for a coach, apparently.
Yeah, to say
So
it mildly.
yeah. The next guy for me, Gio Lo Celso. He's proving to be the player that we thought we were buying. He's always got that kind of like weird look in his face, like it's like that nonchalant kind of like, nah, I don't give a fuck type of a look on his face. I just think that's the way he is. He doesn't have that intense look. He doesn't have that like, it's kind of like that whole attitude it was shown on that one penalty kick Harry Kane had a couple of years ago. That kind of like, fuck it. Remember when he went and sat down on the wall?
Yep.
And that might have been a little bit of him going, yeah, it's fucking Harry Kane. He's going to make it, which is fucking really cool and some shithousery. But on the other side of that, like Gio Lo Celso looks really good. He's going to be a guy who's going to play a lot this year, and he's not going anywhere. And my third guy, God, this is tough. And you may or may not like this, but I'm going to say it's Emerson Royale.
Interesting choice.
And this is why it's the plain fact, and it's not Sonny, because I don't think Sonny did himself any favors this year. He's so far in the preseason has just been meh.
Yeah.
I don't think he can play I don't think he can play on the wing, but that's another whole kettle of fish. Emerson Royale, and it's for the plain fact that there's fucking nobody else over there, but he plays really, really good defense, and he's shown in the preseason that he can push up and try and be part of the attack. He's as bad on the attack. Well, he's not as bad on the attack as Pedro Porter is on defense. But he's shown that he can show up in the attack. He passes pretty okay. But he defends very, very well. And
Porro doesn't.
Right. And so that's the thing, is that in the system with Ange, we have a Destiny Udogie on the other side, right? So he could have been one of the ones that, he did himself all the favors in the world.
He showed up. He showed up. He was fucking good.
He was good. But I kind of expected that out of him, knowing the player that he is and the player that he was. So with Emerson, I think that he's shown that Destiny's the guy who's going to play offense, who's going to be an offensive, left back. On the other side, we need somebody who can get back and play defense quickly on transitions. Because what happens is you're going to get counterattacked in the system often, and you need somebody who's fast, who's going to get back there. You're going to have Van de Ven. You're going to need somebody who's going to be ballsy enough to make a fucking tackle in the midfield, a strategic tackle in the midfield. That's Romero. And then you're going to need another defender back there to slow people up so the other guys can get back and play defense. In the end, we're going to give up a lot of goals right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
A lot of fucking goals, and we may not win a whole bunch. I'm willing to bet we go 3-3 to start the season with no draws. But the defense is the weakness, and we just need defenders that are going to be able to push up when we need them to attack and be able to get back. And Van de Ven's that guy because he's fast as fuck. So now yours. I just took up a lot of time, didn't I? Holy shit.
I mean, look, I'll try to keep it different. I wasn't going to include Ndombele on my list of failures because, frankly, I never considered him as in the mix to begin with. But I think, the guys you listed, Eric Dyer, spot on. If we could only sell one defender, I would sell Eric Dyer. If we could sell two defenders, I would sell Eric Dyer twice. That's how much I despise him right now.
What a douchebag.
Well, and I know one game does not make or break anybody, but just watching, because it's so fresh in my mind, watching that Barcelona game today, you could see Sanchez trying, right? Like we know Sanchez is probably out the door. He's got to move on. He's just not been at the level that's required. But what I saw from Sanchez today was effort. He was busting his ass out there. He was putting in the tackles. He was trying to get himself into positions.
Yo,
There
he
was
had a
one,
really great tackle on Rafinha, like
oh yeah,
beautiful tackle.
dude. He had one block early on in the second half where he was like fist bumping himself because he recognized that he made the recovery. He did what was
Yeah.
expected. I saw none of that from Dyer. He was slow. He wasn't really tracking well. He was playing as if it was still a Conte system. And that was never going to work. It's not going to work under Ange at all. And for me, he's got to be the first name out the door, aside from Hugo, who we know is leaving. Like he's going. So Dyer absolutely out the door. I have to agree with you. Reggie, another one. I love the dude. He's so positive. He's so full of energy. He's not good enough. And frankly, I could apply that to just about every single left back aside from Destiny. Destiny nailed on starter. He has done everything he needs to just be the number one guy. Who I line up behind him in the pecking order is Ben Davies. I would pick Ben Davies over Sessegnon and over Reggie right now.
Yeah,
And maybe that's a hot take, but neither of those two looked particularly good to me.
no, I'm steady Ben Davies. I mean, again, he's another guy that I don't think is good enough, but I mean, you're gonna have to find somebody, and it doesn't look like Barca wants to sell Longline to us for the price we want to buy him. So
yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of situation on the right hand side, right? Like I think we can both agree that Emerson Royale is the nailed on starter and right back.
Yeah,
by far. Pedro Porro takes second spot, not because he's been good, but because nobody else is there to really pick up the slack.
I think eventually he's going to end up in the starting role too.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any way that Emerson can figure out a way to be more effective on the offensive side of the ball, yeah, Emerson's got that spot. But like, I just don't understand why we. I mean, did we have to buy Pedro Porro? Was that a obligation to buy?
Yeah, I think it was.
So I mean,
he's one of those guys where I think Ange just needs to figure out what to do with him.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got some time in a more advanced role where he doesn't necessarily need to defend as much. Maybe if Decky picks up an injury and Solomon's nowhere to be found and there's nobody else to play on that right side, I could see him getting a run out there. But my third guy outside of Reggie and Dyer, and this is probably going to be a bit of a hot take, and it's not to be super disrespectful at all, but somebody who did themselves no favors, I think is Son. I don't think of the attackers that I saw across all of preseason, he was the only one who still seemed like he was trying to figure out his role. Perisic thrived. Solomon had moments of brilliance. He looked fantastic. Richarlison was hot and cold, but when he was hot, he was fucking hot. Son was the only one who was just kind of like average. And it's not like he was bad compared to some of these other guys we've been talking about. He just wasn't as good as we expect him to be. Like he's still trying to work himself up to fitness. He's still going to start because he's Son. He's a good player. There's intelligence, there's talent in there. He fits Ange's system. But to me, he was the only attacker that really looked lost. Yeah. I could shit on defense all night because they're still terrible, but midfield looked good. I don't really have anybody in midfield who just was absolute ass. And Son wasn't bad either. He just wasn't the best of the forwards. I guess I'll leave it with that.
I was listening to the extra inch and I heard Barty mention, I think it was Barty who mentioned something about like Son is not like that ball handling wizard. He's just not. He does a lot of step overs and makes it look fancy when he's running. He doesn't have as much pace as you think he has. He's able to outrun some dudes, and he's able to get around some dudes. But Barty did make the point that like just because he made that one run against Burnley, everybody thinks he's this fucking amazing winger, and he's not really that type of a winger. He's not that type of a guy. I mean, he made that run, yeah, sure, but he's not that type of a guy typically. You know, he might be a guy who can slot in if Harry Kane isn't as
Yeah.
you know, missing as like a true number 9. He might actually be that type of a player that it can succeed in Andrew's system like that. Like
Only
maybe
time will tell.
yeah, but
yeah, he was the least impressive, and it's not that he was bad. He just wasn't as good as the rest of them.
right.
For my guys that I think really benefited, Gio Lo Celso, I think has got to be one of the better ones out there. I mean,
Man, it's good.
you hit the nail on the head, right? Like he's the player that we thought we were getting. And I don't know if it's because Ange's system suits him or because he's got some real one-to-one competition with Madison. Frankly, having the two of them on the squad and having options when it comes to a midfield creative player is going to be a huge boon for Spurs this year. Because frankly, like, who did we have before? We had fucking nobody. You know, our most creative player besides Bentancur was Højbjerg. Højbjerg's not a fucking creative player,
You
right?
see that fucking ball he put up against Shakhtar?
Dude, I still love
Postecoglou threw his hands up in the air.
Yeah, but that's exactly it, right? Like
That's a guy who's used to playing in a Conte system.
Exactly.
Right? Just get the fucking ball out of there.
I love Højbjerg. I love what he's done, but to have creative players like Madison and Lo Celso is going to make us a bit more dynamic in areas that we absolutely need to be. I'd rave about Madison, but I think he's the player that we all knew that we were getting. You know, he's a creative force. He's fitting in well. Great. So Lo Celso gets the nod there. Decky looks like he's enjoying himself again. You know, I got to give it to him. He got a couple of assists over the course, more than a couple, really. He's at what, like 3 or 4 at least in preseason. I saw this interview with him. You know, he was saying, "I'm getting the assists. The goals are going to come." Like his confidence is high. He's loving the system. He's loving, what Ange is doing. It seems like this suits him very well, which is it's phenomenal. Because he's since he signed, he's one of my favorites, right? So to see him coming back and contributing in a meaningful way that's more than just, some fancy footwork and then the ball goes out and nothing ever comes of it. Like this is the Decky that I'm really excited for us to see again. My last guy, I got to give it to Basuma. Basuma, you were absolutely right, Mike. Basuma is an animal in that midfield, and he offers something different than what we get with Lo Celso, than what we get with Madison. He's got that tight, close control. He can break people down. He can break through those lines with his movement. He's strong. He's powerful. If he can stay fit, he is going to be, we'll start to see the comparisons to Dembele. That's the kind of vibes that I was getting from him against Barcelona today. He was really tight. If we can get some more in terms of like assists and some goals from him, great. But damn, like this dude, he's showing up. He is showing up for Ange, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Damn. Absolutely. I do have one more question for you, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
Since we're having so much fun with this back and forth, I think it's time that I get to ask you the next question. And that question is this. Hey, Mike, what you drinking?
Oh, hey. All right. Cool. Hey. So here's some fun stuff. I'm going to take this. I've had it
better be fun. Look, we don't have Dave today. We need to have maximum fun or no one's going to want to listen to this.
I'm having a great time. Obviously way more fun if we had Dave here.
Of course. Well, and we have that nice soothing baritone to kind of like keep everybody engaged and lend some professionalism to us clowns.
I mean, yeah, like, I have my thing where I have gaffes and that kind of shit. You have your thing where you just whine and bitch and complain.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And Dave is the glue that keeps us all together.
Somewhere my wife's like, wow, my ears are in. I've been saying that before.
So Dave and I yesterday, Dave was he brought his son up to move him in because the old college is starting again. And Dave and I met up at Foam Brewing for a couple of drinks and a nice charcuterie board. My wife said, I hope you're having a nice date. When I told her we got a charcuterie board. The cheeses and meats were all perfectly selected. But I picked up some beers. They had a lot of beers in cans. And so I got this one. It's kind of interesting. It's called Alien Observer. It's a 5% Gosa. And before anybody goes off about me not liking fruit in my beer,
Dave's sister's already texting.
Oh God, Gina is already texting right now. It's not fruited beers, it's fruit in beers. Okay. You got to put an orange, you got to put a goddamn piece of pineapple or fucking watermelon or whatever it is in the beer to make it taste better. A lime, a lemon. It's not
looking
fucking
at you,
worth having.
Corona, Blue Moon.
Correct. All of the above. So this is a Gosa. A Gosa is a beer it's a sour beer that's made with sea salt. It takes a little bit of that bite out of that sour and gives it a little balance, a lot of balance actually. This one is a fruited Gosa. It's made with dragon fruit and grapefruit. Here's the can. The typical Foam Brewing
Yeah,
glass
nice.
on there, and it's got a lot of alien shit going on underneath the. There we go. I know because Adam will want to see this later too. So yeah, let's get into this. It's 5% alcohol. Foam Brewers is the brewery with the best spot of any brewery in the state, probably.
It is a cool spot.
Ben Hill's pretty nice too, though, I gotta say. But I'm gonna pour it into my nice little tulip. I just drank one called Drops. I don't even know what's in it. It's an IPA, and it's fucking delicious as well. Might have been one of the best beers I've ever tasted, and I'm not lying.
Interesting.
This fruited Gosa looks like a fruited Gosa.
It sure does. I'm intrigued myself.
Yeah, it's a nice looking. It looks a little bit like a ruby red grapefruit juice. It smells really good. Straight off the nose. Yeah, you can smell the sea salt actually.
Ah, very nice.
Oh man. Yeah, this I've got a feeling this is going to be very good. My problem with not with Gosas, but with most sour ales is that they all have that kind of same taste, on the back end. You have the taste of your fruits and that kind of stuff that they're using, but they all have a little bit of that same aftertaste and that same mouthfeel. They tend to be very fizzy, and then they have that aftertaste, that sour. I don't know what it is.
The problem that I have is that they bitch out on the sour. Most of them. The problem that I have is that most of them bitch out on the sour, and they just, oh well, it's tangy. We're fun and tangy. It's accessible. It's like if I want to, we're not tangy. Sour.
We're not tangy.
No, we're not tangy.
I was tangy
out of here.
I was tangy, but he didn't get a shot because he was injured all fucking preseason. So yeah, let's take a sip of this and see what we get. Like I said, all those sours have that same thing behind them. So,
except for the ones from Hermit Thrush. If you're ever down in Brattleboro, Hermit Thrush makes some fucking sours. That is some good shit if you like sours.
So the thing that sets apart a Gosa from a sour is that sea salt, right? And this is, it's like what separates a pale ale from a double IPA, right? Is like the hops, the reckless use of hops. The Gosa is like a reckless use of sea salt in the beer, and it's used for balance. And man, this fucking beer is good. It is really good. It's got that sour, it's got that bite when you first drink it, and then on the back end, it just like as you're swallowing, it just goes down so smooth because that it's almost like salt water, right?
Huh.
It's
Interesting.
almost got that, yeah. Oh, it's
This is
very good.
intriguing.
It's very good. I mean,
He's going in for seconds, folks.
that
The
beer's very good.
analysis.
You can taste the dragon fruit. Um, you can taste the bitter bite of the grapefruit. It's fizzy like a gosa. Um, it's tangy. It's really, really good. I'm gonna go 3.8 on this.
3.8. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's a really good beer. And I'll probably like gosas for me, sours are like sipping beers. Like you get home from work,
Oh, absolutely.
sit down with the ball game or whatever, you just sip it on a beer. That's the type of beer you're gonna have. I really like it. It's not a dinner beer. It's like an after dinner beer.
Yeah. A dessert beer, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. For song, let's stick with it. I don't know. Stick with the alien thing. Should we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Smooth
Alien
Criminal by
Ant
Alien
Farm. Is
Ant
that where
Farm.
we're
Yeah,
going?
no. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? Uh System of a Down, Aerials.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Fantastic,
That
man.
that makes me want
Fantastic.
to go and drink that beer.
Which makes me, yeah, which makes me want to actually listen to that song right now. But we're gonna go ahead and talk some more, and then I'll listen to it when we end.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll
Well,
get a little maybe you get a little treat at the end of the podcast.
maybe if you're lucky. You got to be on your best behavior, listeners.
And you'll have to, yeah, and you'll have to listen to the audio version as well. Obviously the two of you that are watching now, one of them is probably Dave.
Dave's not watching this train wreck. He's got
No,
better
he's
things
definitely
to
not.
do.
No, I think he's driving to Chicago right now. So
Oh, so he's definitely watching it because what else
yeah,
is he going to do on a drive to Chicago?
exactly.
Pay attention to the road? Absolutely not.
No way, dude. Why would you pay
Beth, take
attention
the
to the road
wheel.
when you can pay attention to your podcast?
Exactly.
You know what? Right
Frankly,
now, Dave's listening, and he's like, "What are these guys fucking doing to this podcast?"
he's already changing his name. He's trying to get his artistic, creative portion stripped away so that he doesn't have to associate with us. I
You know
get
what
it, Dave. I get it.
you know what he kept on saying yesterday?
Fuck
He'd
that Steve
introduce
guy.
it. No, he met one of my friends from high school, who was uh, a bar manager at Foam, and he introduced himself as Dave Younts. It's like bounce, but with a Y. And I just got a kick. He said it like 3 times last night, and I just got a kick out of it, man.
That would make a really good episode title too. Bounce with a Y.
Well, there we go. I think we have it. There it is.
I don't know how it ties into Spurs, but it is fucking
Well,
hilarious, and I think we need
he has
it.
final editing on this, so that's up to him.
Dave, bounce with a Y. You got to do it.
Anyway, all right. So that's hey Mike, what you drinking?
Yeah, 3.8 Alien Observer. The song was Aerials by System of a Down.
Woo!
If that doesn't make you want to go visit Foam Brewing in Burlington, Vermont, I don't know what will.
Jesus, it was good too. I mean,
Well, except for the atmosphere, it being right on the lake, the massive selection
No.
of varied beers. I mean, there's plenty of reasons to go to Foam. And Foam, by the way, we are accepting sponsors. So if you would like to back this podcast, we'd like to do business.
Also, Green Mountain Spurs is looking for a new home. If you want to throw some TVs up in that joint, that'd be great too.
You don't need 20 TVs with your menu on it. All right. Turn one of those into a Spurs machine and we're golden.
I agree. Throw a flag up or two or something. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll be in touch, Foam. We'll be in touch.
There we go. All right, so
we can look ahead now, Mike. Let's look ahead.
Let's look ahead.
We actually have a game, like a legitimate, honest to God Premier League game coming up.
I can't imagine a better scenario for the end of this shitty fucking summer because it's downpouring again. I just had to drive to Virgins to pick up my kids to see them for one day, and then I send them away again. Because Lily has volleyball practice. It's a parenting thing. Lily has volleyball practice. So, and I had to convince Lucas to accept the invitation to the Olympic development program. So that's another thing. But looking ahead, we have Brentford. This is a team. We're playing on Sunday, so like a good portion of the games will already have been done. We have our first Premier League game on Friday, which is fantastic because it just kicks off the weekend. I love it. But our game is until Sunday, so a good portion of the games will have already been played by the time that we play at 9 a.m. We have the 9 a.m. game.
Looking that up now. Burnley against City is the opener. Woo! Sucks to be Burnley.
No, all eyes are going to be on Luton Town, right?
Luton Town, yes.
And they're playing who? Fucking United or somebody, or Arsenal?
Are they not? Oh, they're playing Brighton. Brighton Saturday at 10.
That's an away game. That's an away game for them though, too, right? It's that.
Brighton. It is. Yeah. Brighton's
okay. So looking forward at our Tottenham Hotspur Football Club playing Brighton, here we go.
Playing Brentford. Thomas Frank.
Yeah, Thomas Frank. Also, the Green Goblin.
That was weird.
I lost my audio.
You didn't lose it. It just changed into an abomination. Gotta love Techno Mike.
Techno Mike strikes again. It's only second.
You're back.
I'm back with a vengeance. So, so we're looking at Brentford. Thomas Frank, also known as the Green Goblin, also known as Willem Dafoe. My audio keeps fucking up. I love this.
Brentford, who have had a very interesting.
You're gonna have to take over for me, Steve, for a second here.
Yeah, no. So Brentford, I'm just looking at their preseason results because honestly, I don't really give a crap about them. But we've got a draw, a loss, a draw. They're not looking like they're firing on all cylinders, which is kind of interesting. Again, preseason, take it with a grain of salt. They're at home, first game of the season. They're going to want to show up. They're going to want to give it their all. And this is where the Spursy in me comes in. I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, we've got Ange Postecoglou in here. We've had some pretty interesting games for preseason, some highs, some lows, some really phenomenal results. We've had some great signings coming in. There's a real buzz about the club now. And that just leads me to think that we're going to get shafted in this first game. That would be peak fucking Spurs. We go into this game riding the high of the new era of Postecoglou just to fucking trip right before the finish line and come up short at Brentford. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I am far too maybe it's the beer talking, but I am far too fucking optimistic to think we're coming away with anything short of a win. Mike, you were talking about how you're expecting us to go, 3-3 to start the season. I think this is the first win we're going to get away to Brentford. Like I said, the team's firing on all cylinders. They're bought into Ange. Our defense, yes, they suck. I get it. But Brentford's got what? Tooney's out on suspension for most of the year. I don't really know that they've got.
It's a huge loss for them, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know that they've got much to make up for it. Maybe they'll score a goal or two, but with the way that particularly our attack has been playing, we're going to bring the pressure to Brentford. And more importantly, if they sit back, if they invite that pressure on, if they try to do what every fucking team that plays Spurs does and just sit everybody behind the ball and, hope that they can't score, for the first time in what feels like forever, we have options. Madison can't unlock Brentford. Fuck it. Bring on Lo Celso. Son's not doing his job. Perisic put on a fucking shift against Barcelona. His crossing was impeccable. He will find somebody's head given the chance. We have these options on the bench. We have these players who are already hitting the ground running under Postecoglou. I think we're in for some fucking fireworks match day one. I think Spurs win at least 3-1. That is my score prediction for the Sunday 9 a.m. Eastern match against Brentford. Spurs 3, Brentford 1.
Woo! That's a big one. That's a big one, Steve.
Yeah, I'm feeling that fucking confident right now.
I am. I want to be that confident. I don't know that I am.
Look, it just takes one hiccup before it's like, oh, yep, sky's falling. Fuck it, everything's bad.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my big thing. And Brentford is a counterattacking team, so we are going to be susceptible to counterattacks all season long, whether we like it or not. I mean, it's going to be a situation where we score a lot of goals, and until we figure out the defense, we're going to give up a lot of goals. Van de Ven's not coming in the first game. He's not going to be there to play to start that first game. So the question is,
Romero and Davies.
Who do you put there with Davis? I would, or with Romero. I would argue that Davis is the guy, but Dave Sanchez may
shouldn't be. Yeah,
Dave Sanchez may have played himself into a spot today. Who knows? Who knows what he's done? And there might have been a reason that Dave Sanchez was put on that side today. So that said, I don't think
Eric Dyer could be worse.
And Buemo is going to be up front probably, right, for them. They don't have a shortage of really good players. You know, they have Pinnock on defense. He's not a great defender. He's a solid defender. But I think Buemo is going to be the guy if they're going to score goals, he's going to be the guy who's going to score goals for them. Because obviously Tony's not there. But they are a team that's opportunistic, and they will counterattack. They will transition on you. And if there's anything that we've seen about Spurs this year so far, is we hold a lot of fucking possession. We actually lost possession against Barcelona today, mostly because 90% of those guys out there hadn't played 90 minutes yet, and they played 90 minutes, and they're gassed in those last 15 minutes of the game. But I think that if we go out there with our starting 11, we fucking run Barcelona today.
Absolutely.
Even as they played their starting 11, minus Gundogan, who's probably going to be in the starting 11. But
if he gets registered,
that's the other thing, right? But I think I think the game's going to be a little closer than you think. I think it's going to be like a 4-2, a 4-3 game. And it's going to be a nail biter. I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think second half Spurs is going to be a thing for the first couple months until we get our footing under us. We're going to hold a lot of possession. We're going to shoot a lot. We're going to make risky passes that we weren't allowed to or weren't able to make. I think that was part of like when Hobby did that fucking airball. Postecoglou, that was part of why he was angry, because he, right after that he was like swinging his arms like go go go. He wants guys to get into those positions and make those risky passes. He'd rather you make a risky pass and fuck it up than to not make a risky pass and pass it backwards. Right?
Did you see him throw his arms up when Vicario kicked out of play?
Yeah, Vicario is another issue for me. I think he takes unnecessary risks. I think he puts himself into some bad positions. And he's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Fraser in there a couple of times in the early going.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit maybe psychotically impressed with his headed clearance before he scrambled back and pawed the ball out. That was fucking ballsy, man. But yeah, I think Vicario's got a bit of a learning curve ahead of him for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. I like him. I really do. I don't know if he's the best goalie. I don't know if he's the best option we could have gotten. But the dude is just fucking.
The best option we could have gotten
zany.
is going to Arsenal.
Yeah, he is a fucking zany ass player, and honestly, right now, before the season's underway, before we go on a losing streak, I'm here for it.
What is it about the Italian goalkeeper that they're fucking lunatics?
Dude, this guy is batshit crazy. You know, like
he does some crazy shit, right?
Fucking diving saves. He's all over the fucking place. This dude, I have no idea what we're going to expect, but I guarantee if you need heart medication or something, make sure you're refilled, because this team is going to fucking put you in the ground this season, especially as we start to really solidify Ange's system and make some grabs, because holy shit, like if nothing else, it's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be an exciting season, and I am so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think the saving grace for us in this game is going to be in the end that David Raya is going to be a fucking gooner, and they're going to get him for less than Brentford wanted us to pay. So there's something there. Let's go out there with a chip on our shoulder. Let's get Harry Kane 2 goals of the 4 that we're going to score. And let's go take 3 points out of this weekend. But it's going to be a roller coaster, and I'm excited for this season to start. I will be at Boston Spurs for the start of this Premier League season. I'm taking my son to his first game at Fenway Park on Friday, and on Sunday we're headed over to Boston Spurs for the match at their new home, and I don't remember the name of the place, but I'm going to plug them. And hopefully it's a wonderful experience, and I get to meet a lot of great new people. And unfortunately, I don't have stickers to pass out. So,
oh well. We'll get them. We'll get them.
Yep. Oh, I just saw your cat.
Yeah, she's back here hanging out. Before we wrap it up, I've got just another fun question. First goal for Spurs. Who do you think's getting it this season?
Ooh, this is fun. It's gonna be somebody you don't. I'm gonna. You know what? Harry Kane.
You think Harry Kane's getting the first goal?
Yep. I want to say Sonny. But I think it's Harry Kane.
I am going to back my man, and I am going to say Decky opens the scoring for Spurs this season.
Excellent. I would love that. Decky's my guy too. I love Decky.
Honestly, my gut says it's probably going to be a midfielder, to be honest. Madison, maybe. I don't think Harry Kane is getting the first goal. I think if Harry Kane plays for us at Brentford this weekend and we go on to a multi-goal game, I think he at least gets a brace. I think he's scoring at least 2 goals. I don't think he opens the scoring. That's my guess right now.
It's going to be crazy because, you had last year, Bentancur scored 5 goals. Fucking Hobby scored 5 goals. Who knows? Who knows? And then Harry Kane scored the rest of them.
Yeah. Now this season, it's who's going to score? It could be anybody.
Skippy scored.
Richarlison could come off the bench and score, for fuck's sake.
Skippy scored twice
against Barcelona.
And
one of them was a fucking header from Perisic. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing too, is that Barcelona has some really big issues, and I'm going to tell you right now, the money that they paid for Jules Koundé and the money that we thought we were going to we almost paid for Jules Koundé. He's fine for La Liga, right? But yeah, he's not going to hold up against the Premier League side, and I'm glad we didn't get him. So that's my final word, my final thought.
final thoughts. Speaking of, we got to hit closing thoughts, right?
Yeah, we
Anything else from
closing
you, Mike?
thoughts right now. No, closing thoughts for me. Right now we're still experiencing flooding in Vermont. So yeah, any kind of flood relief, any kind of flood relief that you can donate to, please donate to that. Middlebury flooded just last Friday, as did the city of Rutland. Again, flooded. We're still experiencing you know, thousand year rainstorms basically here in Vermont, and just any kind of relief you can give to anybody, please. If you're in the area, if you're not in the area and you want to seek it out, go ahead and donate. You can Google, there's a probably 10 different funds you can donate to that help folks who are displaced from their homes, or displaced, or having trouble kind of resetting after the flooding and stuff that happened. So we're still experiencing that. We had torrential downpours all day today. And by the end of the week, the lake and the river levels are going to be up again. So let's just think of our neighbors.
Absolutely. Great shout. And frankly, I want to leave it at that. I mean, I don't really have any other closing thoughts to share aside from, let's again consider our neighbors, take care of one another. It's easy for us to get caught up in the rivalries and the arguments and the, blah, 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 fucking Premier League's back, right? But at the end of the day, I see somebody on the street, house underwater, they got an Arsenal flag out there. I still want to help them out, right? Like, rivalries only go so far. You got to take care of people, especially when they're in your own backyard. It's unfortunate what we're seeing in Vermont with all the flooding, but frankly, these sorts of conditions, they're not limited to Vermont. We've seen heat deaths in the south of the US. We've seen, earthquakes in Turkey last year. We've seen lots of environmental issues hitting all Spurs fans, all football fans all over the world. And, if we're able, if we can do something to help out our neighbors, to help our communities, absolutely, I would encourage every single one of us to take those opportunities. I got to give a shout out, Boston Bruins, that organization. They were up in Vermont helping out with some of the cleanup efforts. So kudos to you guys. It's not soccer necessarily, and they're not really from Vermont, but they recognized an opportunity to take care of their neighbors and to help out. And I love to see when an organization does something like that. It's easy to give the money. It's another thing to actually physically come up and lend a hand. So big shout out to Boston Bruins. Really loved seeing you guys up here. And to all our listeners out there, those of you who have contributed, who are able to contribute, and those of you who, simply just pass along the message to others who might be able to do what you can't. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully this stuff dies down and we can just go on to talking football.
Absolutely. And just for Dave, who's not here, and Steve, love and appreciate both of you guys. And as we close out here, Steve, what are your last words?
Don't be an asshole. And Mike, your last words?
The world is crazy, guys. We're having the flooding. We have people who think they can just do and say whatever the hell they want. I had a friend who was assaulted the other day, walking his dog. And you have to watch out. You just have to watch out. So I just want everybody to say, just to walk around with your head up and just be safe out there. Okay. Everybody be safe.
Quiz.
And